Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Craig. So just a little correction there. So this is my 5th year of being with Fresh. 5th year.
Fantastic.
All right. So I want to talk about customer relationship management and which is CRM software. I'm going to assume everyone knows something about CRM software when I talk about CRM. But the thing that really surprises me in the industry is CRM is known just as being a sales tool. Yet the words customer relationship management has nothing to do with sales. So that's why I'm an advocate for CRM software is not just for salespeople. Back all the way in 2008, if we can think what we were doing in 2008, you might have been getting your first iPhone, if that. You might have still been using your flip phones. Organizations and companies were out selling face-to-face, like there was maybe some telephone sales, but everything was face-to-face. And back then, the number one reason out of a study that was done then, and it's done quite regularly, the number one reason for investing in CRM software for businesses was to cut the costs of managing customers. So businesses wanted to reduce their costs of actually engaging with customers. So they invested in software to cut costs and cut the customer engagement and the cost of acquisition, which these days seems crazy. Back in 2014, those mobile phones, those Apple devices, they kicked in, and then it was all about, the number one reason was for investment was all around getting CRM systems onto mobile phones so that their sales teams could go out and sell more and update the CRM systems from their mobile phone. Fast forward to 2019, a beautiful year before the crazy. The number one reason that companies invested in CRM softwares was to improve customer experience. So finally, we're getting to the point of investment where CRM systems and software and technology is used to actually enhance the customer experience, not to improve the salespeople data entry or whatever it is there. So that was quite interesting from where we've come from when I looked at this research and did this a couple of years ago. Now, the forecast of what the industry is talking about now is customer relationship management software. The biggest investment or the reason why companies are investing is actually growth. And so they're looking at technology from a growth perspective and their customer relationship management as a growth tool, as a driver for growth. So now that we're on to CRM is for improving customer experiences. We've got a main thing is around the CRM system. So that's what companies and businesses look at first. They'll look at the CRM system as an investment. So a tool where they can add in their contacts, add in their leads, manage their sales pipeline, build some reporting around their customer relationship management. And then after that, they'll probably think about how do they link email marketing, maybe even do some automated email journeys. So a website inquiry and then send off a sequence of 3, 4, or 5 emails. So that's typically where businesses will kind of evolve their customer relationship management system and integrate that email marketing. They'll look at web forms and payments and things like that. So maybe sending a form to get an electronic payment these days. Social media and advertising. And as you can see here, we're not just talking about customer relationship management as a tool to manage your sales pipeline. We're looking at how we're engaging our customers and what tools do we need to engage our customers, and what is everything that surrounds the CRM system. And social media is a big part of that. We've got a couple of amazing social media advocates here, and it's all about brand awareness and all about content generation. And then how does all that activity link to the engagement that your customers, once they become customers or inquiries are made, how has that engagement affected your overall sales pipeline and growth strategy as well? Things like live chat, SMS, and social media are becoming really popular these days. There's a big driver in the industry for WhatsApp type messaging integrated with your CRM system and your customer engagement. I wouldn't be surprised if the SMS is something that is gone with the way of the DVD in the next 2 or 3 years, because the WhatsApp type platforms where people can engage with businesses and other people in group chats, it's just going to take over. And that's the way the CRM industry is going, is fully integrating those chat messages to be able to communicate with customers. Search and paid ads. So not many businesses do it in the early stages, but a lot of people are starting to do it, especially when you're growing a business. Search and paid advertising, pay per click, is really important. And one of the big things there is you can pay a lot of money for your pay per click advertising, yet you don't really know how much revenue that advertising, those campaigns are generating. So that's why it's really important to think of this strategically. And when you're doing your paid advertising and your Google search keywords and your Google ads, is how does that process equate to how many sales and how much revenue you're generating? Then there's a whole heap of other residual things around the CRM. So it's not just a bit of software that sits there in the corner that you put your data into for your contacts and your sales pipeline. You're generating proposals. You're collecting feedback and reviews and surveys. You're integrating your booking system, like sending meeting requests and things like that. Creating events and event management. You're integrating things like your finance system, Xero, and then you're creating this system and you've got all this data. You need some really good reporting that pulls it all together. So with Fresh Networking at the moment, we're talking about, we've got all this amazing data and it's amazing information about guests and who attend events and members and how many referrals and all these things. But we really need to pull all that data together and create some amazing reports that information can be used to make really good decisions in a timely manner, but also add value to members. Because we want to know what's our effectiveness as a member of Fresh. Who are the most effective people or the most effective hubs or all those types of things. And there's some great data that we can pull together with some business intelligence reporting. And finally, e-commerce is another big trend of tying that in and integrating that with your CRM system. Businesses that traditionally offer services or maybe products and they're traditionally offline, selling offline, they're looking at how they can sell online now. And they wouldn't have entertained it unless they had really good systems that means that they can go and implement e-commerce really quickly. All right, moving on. So now we've got a way that we can implement these systems, and CRM and customer relationship management is so much more than just a bit of software in the corner. Growing businesses these days are looking at CRM as a strategic approach. As an example, with Fresh Networking, back 4 or 5 years ago when I met Darren, and we were talking about what are the systems in the business that are required in Fresh Networking that are required. And it took a good couple of years of discussions of brain ideas and workshops that Darren did. And he came up with this concept of he wanted a strategy for technology in the business. And it was all around guests and members. And so therefore the guests and members are the customers, and it's a customer relationship management strategy that involves technology. The first thing that was really important was to map out the customer journey. Now, working out who is the perfect customer and how do they find you, because that's really important. So whether it's social media or whether it's Google advertising, whether it's networking, where do they find you? And mapping that out in your customer journey is really important to know. So you've got to do this before you even entertain the software that you want to implement in your business. It's not worth getting a bit of software to drive this change. You need to understand what your customer journey is before you decide on the technology. What is your customer experience? Can you draw it on a map? Can you document it? How complex is it? If it's too complex for you to draw it, then how complex is it for the customer? And how complex is it for the people that are involved in this process, your team? As you grow, as you scale, that complexity will compile, and then you'll just have one big mess and your clients won't know, your staff won't know what's happening. And then choosing what you can automate in your business. What are your top 5 things that you can automate? And today we've got one of the most amazing customer experience consultants in the room, Ed Frame. I really highly recommend connecting with Ed. He will help to build out and understand what your customer journey and customer processes are. That's the first foundation. Before you want to look at technology, understand what your customer processes are. Craig Stevens is brilliant at mapping out these processes and understanding these processes as well. So you get some great people in the room, talk to them, understand it. Don't come to me first, go to them first and understand what your business needs. An example of some customer journey mapping, you can draw it. And if you can't draw it, then it's too complex. So you got to simplify it down. Create a CRM strategy. I know this sounds really weird that you would have a CRM strategy, but it is really important. Fresh Networking, Darren created this CRM strategy of technology that he wanted. He looked at how he was going to grow, what growth does he need? What's important in that? Is it awareness? Is it sales? Is it retention? All of the above. He had to look at what was important for the growth of Fresh. Then that equates to a CRM, a sales and marketing strategy. How many new guests does he need? Does Fresh need? How many members does that convert into? And how many of those members do we need to retain to grow an organization like Fresh? And how are we measuring success? Is spreadsheets and P&L good enough? Or is customer loyalty and customer retention, is that important? Is automation and process improvement, is that important? So that's where a CRM strategy is really good to have, and looking at that in a 5-year vision. The next thing, obviously, is getting help from experts. Software companies tell you all the good things, where industry experts will tell you all the good and the bad, and they'll try to match the right systems for you. The hardest thing, and one of the software developers mentioned before, one of the hardest things is to find the right systems. Rather than going out and testing a heap of different systems and then just settling on something that's good enough at the time with the amount of time you've got, talk to experts, engage consultants, get help to find the right systems for your business. You'll get things set up 50% faster by engaging experts to help you than trying to do it yourself. And things like they will help you follow industry trends. One question, I want you to go research this. We don't have enough time to go through it. What is the cookie apocalypse? And the cookie apocalypse is coming this year, and not many people know about it. And it's going to affect the way you do marketing in your business. All right, moving on really quickly, continuously improve things. Audit your database regularly. Keep your CRM and marketing lists clean and safe. Safe is really important, but keep it clean. It's not worth marketing to people who don't want to talk to you. And update your communications. Keep things fresh. Update your emails, SMS, and processes. You've got to keep them up to date. And if you don't have a CRM strategy to think about this annual review of the content that you're putting out, then things can turn stale really quickly. And what else can you automate? Always be thinking about the next 3 things that you can automate in your business. And by putting that into your strategy and making sure that you're working on those is really important as well. It's simple. We set up CRM systems. We help to define the CRM strategy. So once you talk to Craig or talk to Ed, you've defined your customer journey, come talk to us. We'll help you work out what technology is right for your business. We'll match the right CRM systems and all those other things, marketing, live chat, Google Ads, all those things will help you to find the right systems that integrate with us. We set up your systems, we get you all set up, we train your team, and then we'll work with you continuously. Some of our clients are 5, 6 years old, and we continuously keep working with them to improve their systems. All right, moving on so that we can get back to fresh and get on with our day. If you've got any questions or feedback now, or if you'd like to give me feedback personally about the presentation, scan the QR code and you can rate me out of 1 to 10 and leave me feedback. Otherwise, any questions?